What's up, everybody? Just getting set up here. Okay, what's up, everybody? So today I want to go over. Today I want to go over. Today I want to go over my community post and talk about just my whole journey as I was going through them. If you guys remember my last stream, I was talking about basically I was talking about alchemy, how to transform yourself and essentially just have a better relationship with yourself. So you can go on this pickup journey as a way to, as an expression of self love, as opposed to as an expression of self hate and not being, and viewing yourself as not good enough. Because if you do go from that place of viewing yourself as not good enough, then it's going to exhaust you. Rejection is going to terrify you. You're going to get anxiety. I mean, like, there's all these things that are going to come up, and it's going to become a drain on you that will only be fulfilling to you when you get results. And the results are an illusion, boys. I mean, I'm not saying don't go for the results, but they're not the, you don't need them to feel good. And if you do, you're putting a hole in your bucket and you're just going to be draining yourself basically forever, like nothing will ever be enough. And on top of that, one thing I want to say as well, on top of that, if you're coming from this place where you need things so you can prove to yourself that you're enough, that's going to push out to other people around you, and then people will be with you because they'll be like, yeah, this guy's cool, because it's going to come out in all your communications where you're going to talk about, you're naturally going to talk about things that make you feel good about yourself, but they're going to come from this place where you base your worth on them. So then people that are drawn to you are going to think of you as this cool dude that's done all these cool things, but then when they meet another dude that's done cooler things, they're going to be like, well, this guy's cooler. And they're going to choose him over you because you base the whole relationship, your whole worth, on what you have to offer. So when there are other people that have more things to offer, people will naturally just go to them because they'll be like, well, this guy has cooler stuff. And the reason I'm hanging out with you, like with the original guy, you, is because of the cool stuff he's done, and he makes it all about the things he can do and the things he can accomplish, and he is just not enough. It gets weird. Sorry, I was eating some fucking walnuts, and like some of them got like some crumbs in my throat or something. It's making me cough. Anyway, so I will be exploring this because I myself was breaking out of this, and this is how I ended up becoming who I am and getting to the place where I am now by going through this process. I'm not condemning the process, but I am just pointing it out so you cannot spend years and years on the fucking hamster wheel of fucking debt. Okay, because it will never stop turning until you die, and it's going to consume you alive essentially. So I don't want you guys to have to go through that. I went through that so you don't have to. Okay. Okay, but first I want to react to this video I saw of Tristan Tate. It's with this guy Jack something. I don't know what his name is. The dude with the Jew fro. His name is like Jack something. Anyway, let's listen to, the name of the channel is Real Talk. The name of the video is Tristan Tate on rejection from women and heartbreak. So let's check this video out.
Have you ever been brutally rejected by a woman?
No, because there's no such thing as brutal rejection. Lots of women like me, lots of women don't. I've never been brutally rejected because I've never tried that hard. You know, when I first started getting famous, back when I
All right, I agree with Tristan that, which by the way, I like Tristan better than Andrew. I think Tristan's a more put together, he's more sophisticated. I don't know. I just like the guy better. So I tend to only watch, if I do watch Tate videos, I tend to only watch Tristan videos. I don't really watch Andrew Tate videos. Shout out to Andrew Tate for his boxing fight. It sucks that everybody was making fun of him, but anytime I see anybody get in the ring, respect, respect. He got in the ring, and you can't really hate on somebody for at least giving it a shot. Okay. So he said he's never really been brutally rejected. because he's never brutally tried. I would say that's cope. I would I would like to think, I don't know, but I would like to think he has been brutally rejected and he has brutally tried, but he's gotten to a point where he doesn't do that anymore, is his point. So he's trying to make it sound like this is just the way to be. This is one of these bad things I'm talking about. Is I'm going to be talking about my posts as we're going through this stream. It's like it's okay if you suck. You know, if at one point you didn't like yourself and you had a negative relationship with yourself and you felt you needed to prove yourself to yourself before you could love yourself and so on and so forth. It's okay. You can just like quit capping, bro. I don't believe Tristan, but he is giving good advice here, saying that you can't get brutally rejected if you're not. You can't really truly get rejected if you're not basically basing your worth on whether the girl accepts you or not. You know, like you can't get rejected if you don't reject yourself. So if you reject yourself and then you go up to a girl, you're like, "Oh, I suck. Nobody will want me, but I'm gonna see if this girl wants me." Then from that place of mind, yes, the girl can reject the fuck out of you. However, if you love yourself and you don't reject yourself, you can go up, you can be like, "Yo, what's up, girl?" She could be like, "Yo, get away from me." And just gonna be like, you know what I mean? She just didn't like me, and that's okay. You can also come from a place where you can disagree with somebody. Somebody could say something you don't agree with, and it won't trigger you, you know? So if you're getting triggered, if I'm getting triggered by something, because believe me, I'm human. I still once in a while feel triggers of mine getting fucked with, you know? If I feel the trigger starting to come on, then I can be like, okay, I'm putting too much importance on this person needing to be what I want them to be because it somehow is a threat to me, you know? Yeah, for some reason I need things to be a certain way for me to feel calm within myself, and this thing is disturbing me. This disagreement is disturbing me. That means that I'm off. You know what I mean? That means that I cannot on some level I'm I'm disconnecting from myself. I'm not respecting myself essentially by allowing somebody else to get me all pissed off. It is true that if you allow somebody to get you mad, they've won already. You know, you shouldn't allow people to get you upset. Not to say that anger is bad, but anger has a purpose. And one thing to a good way to look at the lower emotions as well is they are there to serve the whole self. So they're not there to serve themselves. This is where emotions can go rogue when you get fragmented and your different parts get fragmented from your core self, or you can even think of like your core self gets exiled and your individual your separate parts end up taking precedence before your core self. When you get fragmented like that, these different parts of yourself like anger, shame, frustration, aggression, stuff like that, when those things are serving themselves, they can get triggered and you can lose control and end up serving those masters. Okay. But when they work in service of your core self, then all the emotions are connected to each other through yourself. And what maintains yourself together and whole is, you know, self love and loving yourself as you are and not needing anything outside of yourself to balance yourself on the inside, so on and so forth. I mean, this can also extend, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying to be selfish and just care about yourself only and ignore all external feedback, but I'm saying when one interacts with the external world, if you can do so without getting ripped apart by the external world and all these needs and pressures, survival pressures from the external world, if you're whole within yourself, you know? We'll get more into this as I go into the post. But yes, this is my response to what Tristan has said so far, where he's never been brutally rejected because he's never brutally tried. It's correct. The way that you do not brutally get rejected is if you don't reject yourself and then leave it up to the girl to give you acceptance, you know, because then if she doesn't, then you're just left with your own self-rejection, right? Your own emptiness.
I still had Instagram and I was platformed. Instagram DMs would get leaked. And as I said, they've been through my hard drives. I've never said anything stupid. You know, I said to girls, hey, where you from? You know, you want to go out sometime? No, never in a million years. And I literally just say, okay, no problem, smiley face. And then
Okay, that's great right there, honestly. Again, going back to what I was saying about You know, somebody could reject you or disagree with you, and you can just take it, man. You can just take it as it's like that's how they feel. That's their own stuff. That doesn't affect me at all. And I don't have to be angry at them for not accepting me. It is super cringe to see dudes get rejected. And then they're like, fucking bitch. Bitch is stuck up anyways, bitch. I've even had friends, dudes, where I've gone out. I've been out with my buddies hanging out, and then they'll be like, they'll be like, oh, because you know, if any of you guys ever went out with me, right? If any of you guys were friends of mine and we went out, and you started talking about how you like some girl, or I saw you staring at some girl, like I fucking her, basically, I would be like, just go talk with her, bro. She's right there. Go say something. You know, like you're creeping me out, bro. Why can't you just go say something? I would say something along those lines, you know, where I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, quit being fucking weird and go say something to her. Clearly you're interested. And then I've done that with my friends before, and they'll say shit like, yeah, she looks stuck up anyways. And it's like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? She looks stuck up anyways, bro. Go talk with her. You fucking like her. Quit fucking trying to knock her down to so you can feel better about yourself, you know? And even if she was stuck up, so fucking what? Even if a girl does OnlyFans or is a porn star or has some qualities that you don't like, is fat as fucking gross, you know? Whatever. Even if that's the case, why fucking give a fuck and feel the need to like express that to her, or or show her that you're displeased with her, or even anybody in general. You know, I was seeing a video earlier today where there was a kid with a pride flag wrapped around him sitting at school, and then this other kid runs up, rips the pride flag off him, throws it in the garbage, and he starts getting in a fight with some dude trying to steal the flag back, you know, one of the gay dude's flags. And I was just like, imagine being so petty that you're threatened by somebody else having a pride flag wrapped around them. You know what I mean? Like, so what? Like, what is he doing to you? You know what I mean? And it's crazy how people will act when they can't, they're just not secure within themselves, you know? Like, they need all these things to be a certain way, and then they can be comfortable in a situation, and they feel the need to show everybody that they're cool. They can't just be chill. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's so wild, bros. And then to what he's saying here about the girls would pop in his DMs, he's about to say that they would pop in his DMs, and then what? I'll show you what he's about to say.
2 years later, when I was getting famous, they'd post it. Ha ha ha! Tristan tried to sleep with me. I'm like, yeah, but I also sent that message to 500 other girls, and 400 did sleep with me. So, like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
So there was no such thing as a brutal rejection, because
Yeah. So to what he's saying there, where he's saying that he sent the DM to just in response to what the girl is doing. She's like, ha ha, he tried to bang me, ha ha ha. So what? So what if he did and you said no? What is this need? It's because this girl has this need. It's this crazy thing that I've noticed that a lot of girls are doing online, which whatever they're doing it, by the way, I don't care. I'm not like, they can keep doing it. It's fine. But I'm saying it's interesting to see them doing it because where they hate on dudes, they feel this need to be competing on men and get one up on men all the time and be like, haha, this guy tried to get me, or haha, this guy is trying to say that he's better than women, screw him. And they like interpret everything as you're trying to compete with them, and they're very competitive with you, and they're out there trying to compete with men and shit, where it's like it's wild to see when you notice this type of behavior. And it's good to pick up on subtle things that girls do when they exhibit these types of behaviors, because it lets you know that they're coming from this place that I'm advocating against, you know, where I'm saying be whole within yourself. You want to have boundaries against people, that females that have the equivalent of this in the female world, you know. It's always really good when we're talking about all the things we do in the streams to you know, view it for yourself, but also have boundaries around it. So when you notice it in females and in other people, you know that it's going to bring that kind of energy into your life. It's better to take it out, because you have to be humble and be like, if I surround myself with it enough, I'm only human, it's going to affect me on some level, you know? I think that there's that famous Nietzsche quote where it says, be when examining monsters or dealing with monsters, beware not to become the monster, you know? And what he's basically saying is that you're only human, dudes. Like, yeah, be careful when you're around them, because if you don't have healthy boundaries around them and you can't recognize what they are, it's called enmeshment. Like, if you don't have this healthy enmeshment between you and them, this separation, or I believe, no, you don't want enmeshment. Enmeshment is when, I might be saying it backwards, but it's a boundary function. It's a psychological term. Enmeshment is when you don't have boundaries, so there is no you and them. And it's not healthy because you don't get to have your individual roles and contribute to each other. You end up having no boundary, and everything just be, you like you need them to feel good and they need you to feel good. And there's no self in between you and your surroundings, you know? So you want to avoid enmeshment, and when you're dealing with people that are horrible people, if you're not able to identify these, well, you know what? To be fair, they're not horrible people. They're just coming from a horrible place. You know, they just do not have a good relationship with themselves and with the world around them, and it's causing them to be this way. You know, they're human like anybody else. They can change like anybody else. Anybody is susceptible to falling into these patterns. I myself was in these patterns. Some of you may have been in these patterns or might even be in these patterns now and are working your way to get a better relationship with yourself so you can feel whole as you are without needing to be constantly proving yourself to yourself, right? So it's just that some of these people are, when they're in these places, they might not be aware of what they're doing, and you have to be able to catch these behaviors outside of yourself, just like you're able to catch them within yourself, to have healthy boundaries. And as they say, you know, when there's a river, the river has its boundaries, and those boundaries allow the river to keep flowing and connect with the ocean. You know, if you were to remove those boundaries, the river would lose all form and just scatter and get dried out, you know? So you need healthy boundaries to keep yourself in a certain flow and to remain connected with your greater self, your ocean, you know? Okay, so let's keep going.
Because I was never brutally trying. I was never trying to force someone to like me who didn't.
Cap.
So
I guess when you were younger, maybe.
no,
Anything like that.
still.
Yeah, again, more good stuff where he's saying I was never trying to get anybody to like me that didn't like me. That's key, dudes. That's very key for when you're doing pickup, that especially that you guys that might be dealing with rejection, with get you don't like rejection. I had a big problem. You're gonna see with these posts that rejection started fucking with me, man. I write about it I think maybe 2 or 3 times in my posts about how I'm trying to get over rejection and my relationship with rejection. And it's like, it's because I wanted people to like me, and I was afraid of finding out that they didn't like me, and I needed them to like me so I could feel good about myself, you know? So he's given solid advice here, solid perspective, where he's spitting solid game, where he's saying, I never I never needed them. You know, I never needed them to like me. I was okay with them not liking me. And that's going to be huge, bros. And being okay with people not liking you is also being okay, as I said earlier, okay with people that have perspectives that might not be your own. This is not to say that you cannot debate people, you cannot challenge people on their views, whatnot like that. I'm more saying you don't need them to agree with you for you to love them, and you don't hate them or feel threatened by them because they have different views, or maybe they just don't like you. You know, you're able to walk up to somebody, you're able to shoot your shot. Let's say she gives you a chance, or it's a dude and you're just being social with people, you're able to just be yourself without needing people to like you, and there's no pressure of you having to perform. And on top of that, equally, you're also able to leave interactions and walk away from things because you don't need anybody to like you. So because if you need somebody to like you, you can find yourself in an interaction and you don't want to leave because you want to keep receiving validation. You'll possibly be afraid if you leave, you'll lose status in their eyes, and all this weird shit where you need them to like you, you know? That's a huge thing. I used to actually, back in the day when I was going through my whole process of processing my emotions around rejection. I remember I used to always start the day with, like, I need to get over this rejection thing. Like, I need to just stop fearing rejection. Otherwise, it's gonna handicap me the whole day. where I was constantly battling rejection. I was like, that's the first thing you need to do. If you want to structure a night to get into your process, to get into state or whatever, I always say you're always in state, like the girl puts you in state. But like, let's say you were theoretically structuring a night for how to put yourself in state, and you're coming from a place where you're not enough. The first thing you're going to have to do is get over rejection and go out there and just like drop your fear of rejection. That is the biggest obstacle in the beginning. However, if you truly embody this philosophy, this viewpoint, this way of being that Tristan, this pattern that Tristan is saying, that you don't need people to like you, rejection becomes a non-factor. Okay, let's keep going.
Well, as a man, you always have to know when to take no for an answer. You know, message her twice, maybe 3 times. If there's no reply, just give up, bro. Like, and it's
Yeah, I agree, guys. So when I'm texting with girls now, there's actually a girl I was texting with, and she's not texting me anymore, but I was texting with her for a few months. It was like somewhat lukewarm. I wasn't sure if she was into me or not, or being nice. You know, girls do this fucking thing where they don't want to reject you. So I've literally had girls tell me, like, I never reject guys because it's mean, even if I don't like them. And then she would get herself in fucked up situations where she has a guy thinking, I will say this, dudes, it's the girl's job to say no. It's our job to initiate, and it's her job to say no if she doesn't want to. Because it's her job to do that, we need to respect her role when she says no. Now, it is also our job to say no if we don't like her either, if she's being dumb and she's like, it's all right not to say no, but to enforce boundaries. But ultimately, once we've chosen a girl and we're just like, we like her, she's hot, I wanna try with her, you know. It is our role to initiate, and it is her role to say no. So if she says no, don't take it personal, dudes. And if you do find yourself taking it personal, it's important to be honest with yourself and not be like full crew, whatever. Like, no, it's be like, no, that hurt me. I took that shit personal as fuck. There's a part of me that needs her to like me so I can feel good about myself. It's good to take a pause and examine that part of yourself and be like, why is that? You know, it's because most likely, like I've been saying, I was saying all in the last stream, and I've been saying this stream, because you don't have a relationship with yourself where you love yourself just as you are. You need to have this constant external validation or requirement of goals to give yourself a reason to like yourself. You're walking around empty, you know? So if you can't just allow a girl to tell you no and just move on, just be like, all right, you know, thanks. It was nice talking with you. Have a good night. If you can't just do that and mean it, there's an emptiness in you that only you can fill. That's the thing. There's nothing I can say to really fill you like the stuff that you can say to yourself. Of course, you can listen to what I'm saying, see what resonates with you, but ultimately the answers are going to come from within you. All right, let's keep going.
So it doesn't matter. Like, I've been rejected loads of times. I've tried to speak with lots of different women, certainly in person. If I see a pretty girl and I walk up to her, she's like, no, I'm not interested. So, okay, well, have a wonderful evening. Goodbye. Like, what could possibly be brutal about it unless I was standing there insisting again and again, oh, well, you know, maybe you're just stuck up like some idiots do. You see them on the internet and they look like fools.
Yeah, exactly what I was saying earlier. It's like, if you cannot just take a rejection, there is something wrong with you, and you look like a fool. You're making yourself look fucking foolish. And then from one's perspective, you think you're like dunking on her and be like, fuck you, bitch, I didn't like you anyway. You know what I mean? You're reclaiming your power. But if you feel the need to reclaim your power, what does that mean? That means you never had it to begin with. You know what I mean? That means that even this power that you're reclaiming is not real. It's just an indication that you have no power, and you feel this need to make this big gesture to show that you're powerful, to distract from the fact that you actually are not powerful and you're actually very, very, very weak. So, I mean, really, this whole video is just talking about how to take rejection, guys. Like the relationship with rejection. Yeah, Tristan Tate on rejection. Yeah, that's exactly what it's titled. But your relationship with rejection is going to be a huge indicator of your relationship with yourself. Because if you do not have a healthy relationship with rejection and you find yourself being afraid of it, being exhausted by it, being angry at it, being angry at girls for rejecting you, then not wanting girls to reject you and trying to avoid it and whatnot, then that means that on a core level, you've most likely rejected yourself and you don't think very highly of yourself, you know? And if you're like, no, I do, no, I do, it just sucks to be rejected. I mean, I can sort of relate with you. I can be like, yeah, it is kind of like disappointing. Like, oh man, I liked her. I wish that would have, gone better. But at the same time, you also don't get stuck on it, and there's not this emotional charge around it. Is what I'm saying. Because why would you care? You don't even know her. You don't even know her. There's no connection with her. There's no relationship with her, and there's gonna be a girl just as hot, if not hotter, like 10 minutes from now. Especially if you're in a big city, especially if you're downtown on a Friday or Saturday night. I mean, and even if she is the hottest girl you've seen, and you're not going to see another girl that hot for months or years or maybe ever again in your life, so what? You don't need her to feel good about yourself. She is just an addition. She is just I wouldn't even want her with me anyway if she didn't love me like I love myself. Like you want to have people in your life that love you for being yourself and that build on your self-love, so your relationship with yourself with self-love is going to be a relationship where you do things to be good to yourself because you love yourself, not you do things. The opposite would be you do things to prove to yourself that you're good enough because deep down inside you actually believe that you're not good enough. No, it's the opposite. It's you do things that are good for you because you love yourself. So if you go for a girl or just your relationships in general, there are people that one, they're good for you. Like if it's a girl in particular, she's your type, she has the genes that you like, number one. So that's good for yourself because you're getting a physical satisfaction from that. But number two, the relationship you have with her is good for you too. She treats you well. She looks out in your best interest. She shows you love when you're being a good guy. She checks you. She basically reinforces healthy boundaries on you that you should be enforcing on yourself when you get out of line, when you have an unchecked desire. And she's there because she is there because she is good for you, not because you want her. And it gives you some kind of it fills up some part of you that's empty. All right, let's keep going.
Fools. And then she'll say, well, you know what? You're a fucking idiot who's balding and you got a crooked nose. Like they've never had to be rude to me because I know when to take the hint and to just leave. So no.
Yeah, another thing about that right there too is it's like it is crazy when you show up with this energy where you're trying to conquer the girl. And all right, number one, if you're showing up with this energy of I deserve this girl because I'm awesome. And if she doesn't want me, it's because she sucks. You know what I mean? It's like you're creating a very combative energy, environment, context, and it's putting a lot of pressure on and it comes across in your communication voice. It's like you can't hide this shit. It's painted on your fucking face. You know what I mean? If you come up and it's a power play or it's a power or it's a flex or it's a domination thing or it's like you're trying to conquer her to prove to yourself that you're powerful or you're running game on her to submit her and it's all these and then she submits to you because you're so strong and she's not as strong as you and she can't tell you no and you're undeniable and blah 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 and it's all these power moves. It creates this weird pressure and combative environment where when girls reject you, you're like, what a dumb bitch. You rejected me. She rejected this. What a dumb bitch. And it's gonna come across in your communications. And then she might just reject you because she's rejecting your frame. She's rejecting the energy you're creating around the pickup where you can't just have fun. I mean, honestly, sometimes girls will play hard to get to see if you're an asshole and to see if you're playing these power games. So they play hard to get almost honestly as a strategic move to see if you can handle them going hot cold on you and all that. So I would say get away from that, get away from that entirely where you feel like the girl is losing out if she doesn't choose you, or you view yourself as this prize that the girl gets if because you're so badass that she should be grateful that you selected her and all this weird shit. It's like, no, it's just fun. I mean, I know I have said in the past and I do in a sense believe this from a survival perspective, we are the prize, because we're the ones that protect the women and they're our responsibility. But I mean, that's more from a biological standpoint. If we're talking about the type of, I mean, honestly, and they're the prize too. Like we're the prize. Like men are built for survival, and women are built for reproduction. We're both the prize in different ways, honestly. But that's when what I'm saying is like, and think about it further too. If you're having a kid, okay, ultimately the reason you get with a chick, right? Ultimately, the ultimate is for what you guys create when you're together, and ultimately the ultimate thing you can create is another human being. So if you're gonna create a certain energy, and from this energy a child shall be born, then you want it to be an energy of love and wholeness, and where you create a vibe where you guys complement each other and build each other up, and you're doing stuff to each other because it's good for each other, it's good for you, it's good for your connection, it's good for the vibe you're creating, and there's none of this like extracting value from each other, because if you get into an extracting value frame, that's how you're gonna get into this shit where like you're talking shit to each other, because it's like you didn't give me the value. Fuck you, you ain't shit anyways. I thought I wanted you, but now you don't want to give me. You ain't actually shit, bitch. Fuck you and your stupid ego. It's like it's gonna create those kind of frames, and that tension is gonna just follow you in all of your fucking interactions, bro. Or bros.
No, there's been no brutal rejections ever.
On heartbreak, what does heartbreak teach you?
Heartbreak teaches you the power of understanding that in life, things will always get better if you try to make them better. I'm not going to say her name, but there are girls who.
It's interesting. Things will always get better if you try to make them better. I sort of see what he's saying. He's saying that just because you invested your energy into it, coming from a place of self love, that thing has become better in a sense that it's an expression of you. Everything becomes your baby. Think of it like one thing I was actually telling one of my mentees earlier. I want to share this analogy with you guys. It's a self love analogy. So think of self love, right? Of Because he had actually, I had met with him and he came with his list, and he had this list and he was like, "Hey, I have this list of things that I want to improve on, and I wanted to share it with you, so on and so forth." And then he starts telling me his list, and I was like, "Wow." I'm thinking the way I'm receiving what he's doing, I'm like, "Wow, you took the time to do that because you love yourself and you're being good to yourself." He starts listing his goals, and then I remember checking with him and being like, "Okay, but do you feel like you need these things to be like, what would happen if you failed all of these goals that you've set out? Would you feel good about yourself or would you feel bad about yourself?" And he started basically being like, I wouldn't be any good. That would suck. It would make me feel bad. I need to accomplish them because I'm letting people down if I don't," and so on and so forth. And that's when I was like, bro, think about it like this. It's okay that you have a list. It's great. I am actually, it's awesome that you have a list, but think about it like this. If you had a baby, okay, say you had a baby, you have this baby, it's your kid. You're going to love that baby just because it's your beautiful baby. The baby does not need to do anything. Just because it exists, it's good enough and you love it. Now, think about it. The way you're talking about yourself with this list is basically like you're saying the baby is you, right? Is yourself, the way that you value yourself. Imagine you had a baby, that's your baby, this beautiful baby of yours, and you said, "I can only love you when you accomplish the things that I have on this list." That's not how it works. That would not be true love, and it's like that would not be a loving relationship with your kid, and clearly that's not how you're going to feel. You're going to love the baby just because it's your baby. It's the equal thing with yourself, where you have the body you've been given, you have the brain that you've been given, you the consciousness that you have, the awareness that you have, and just because it's your gift that God has given to you, to yourself, or that your mom has given to you through being born, if you don't believe in God, whatever. But your body is, and your everything, your being is that baby, is your baby. And you love it just because it exists, because it's beautiful, because it's yours, and it's you. That's all that you need. I was telling him this, and I was like, and now if you come from this place, you can look at this list as opposed to being things that you need to love yourself, as just opportunities for you to be good to yourself, and even just like spheres that you can push yourself out into. And that's what Tristan is talking about here, where he's saying anything that you try to make better, you're going to make better. Yes, because it's an opportunity for you to grow yourself and extend your being out into the world, and it's going to be made better just because it's you, man. Even if objectively you're fucking it up and you're no good and you suck, it's still being given your energy, and that's enough for you to see it as an improvement, as a reason to love it, because it's an opportunity to love yourself.
Who I dated when you were still a baby.
Okay, anyway, this fucking video, I'm gonna end up talking for like another fucking hour if I break down the whole fucking video. But I wanted to show you guys that video. It's here, I'll type it in the chat for anybody that's in here. It's called Tristan Tate on rejection, and it's on the fucking channel Real Talk if you guys want to check it the fuck out, By the way, anybody in the chat that wants access to the drives, let me know. I will type it into the chat now if you want it. And yeah, come on over there and indulge in the drive. The newest thing I've uploaded is a No Flakes DVD, which is very difficult to find, and you can't even buy it on the vaults out there. There are vaults out there, bros. I could take my fucking vault and put it on the internet and sell these things for like 25, 50 bucks each, and make some money here and there. But I'm giving it to you guys for free, complete transparency. Every video that's in there, well, almost every video that's in there, there are a couple in there that are not the case. I would say 90% plus are all videos that I used on my journey. I have been thinking about maybe in an upcoming video breaking down the love drop on physical escalation video and giving my opinions on that. Oh, by the way, guys, actually, let me show you guys something. I forgot about this. Shit. Actually, Sartain fucking went in on me, dudes. Sartain went savage on me, bros. All right, you can see my channel, yeah? Here is a comment I got from Mike. All right, here we go. I don't know if you guys can see, man. Okay, so in the...
Believe it or not, I will draw the person you will marry.
All right, fuck this stupid commercial bullshit. Okay, so where is it? Let me see. Okay, yeah. So I hope you guys can see this fucking comment, man. Where fucking Mike fucking started to tear me apart, man. It's pretty funny, honestly. So the original comment is, it's on the video. This video will unfuck you from bad dating advice. By the way, dudes, I go on the Access Vegas. Well, I go via the Michael Sartain channel, but anytime they do an Access Vegas podcast, you'll see me in there. Most of the, sometimes I forget or I'm busy or whatever. But if you guys ever go to the Access Vegas podcast, they typically play them. I believe they go live like Wednesdays at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or something, Pacific Standard Time. If you ever go in there on those chats live, on those shows live, give me a come and say hi, man, because I'll be in there, and I'll be leaving fucking comments in there. So I believe I haven't seen anybody, but on this video, Mike's, I saw Bill Usher in there, and I know Bill likes to come in here sometimes. So it would be fun if we ran into each other in the fucking chats in the Access Vegas podcast. I believe they're Wednesdays at like 8 or 9 p.m. So this Wednesday, Pacific Standard Time. So this Wednesday, if they do another podcast, they go live, I will be go onto it via the Michael Sartain channel. If you see that they're live on the Access Vegas channel, go on the Michael Sartain channel. He'll be streaming it live on his channel, and say hi, dudes. It'll be fun to run into each other in the chat. And I also said in this video, I was saying that I would love to do a podcast with Mike at some point, which I would, and then somebody was like, he'll do one with you right now. Just hit him up, just like go. I don't even know how the fuck I would hit him up. I guess maybe on Instagram or something. But I wouldn't do one with him now anyway if he offered it, because right now I'm not picking up chicks. Like right now I'm living out in the fucking middle of nowhere, and I've got no chicks in my really that I'm seeing right now or even able to interact with. So once I'm back out in the world and back out there on my game, and maybe toward the end of this year, maybe once I get to Colombia, or I think for the New Year's, for New Year's I'll be in Colombia. Maybe when I'm in Colombia, I'll hit up Mike and see if he wants to do a thing. I'll be starting. I'm thinking about doing a podcast, and that's why I have the microphones back there. I'm going to be taking those microphones with me, and I'm thinking about possibly doing a podcast. And when I'm out and about, and maybe meeting chicks or people while I'm doing my travels, doing a podcast where I interview them about, just about them traveling, and I might put it on a different channel. I don't know if I'll necessarily put it on this channel. I might put it on this channel, and I'll just be doing podcasts, talking with maybe potentially other world travelers or just girls that I pick up and that I meet. I am actually thinking about doing the where I do the button, the spy cam with the button, then picking up the girl, and if I get the girl, I befriend her, I close her or whatever, then doing a podcast with her afterward, talking about her life and getting to know her, and then I won't feel as bad about posting how I picked her up. But once I get that rolling, it depends too, because it's a lot of work, dudes, to put this shit together, and I have a fucking job. But if I end up getting once I get that rolling, and once I get my pickup pilgrimage in motion, I might try to get Mike on the channel and see if he'll do a podcast with me. He's one of the few people that I would do a podcast with. I would do one with him. I would do one with fucking Myron, but with Myron, he wouldn't do it with me, I don't think. But I would do it with Myron just to like for the contrast. Anyway, the original comment here on the video: why this video will unfuck you from bad dating advice. Somebody states or says status is kind of irrelevant. Status is kind of irrelevant in an age where most people meet through dating apps. Looks are still by far the most important thing to get your foot in the door. So this is clearly a black pill guy, a looks max guy. So I say in response, go outside and have fun and talk with women. Some shall like you and some shall not. Have fun and enjoy meeting people anyway. It really is that simple, okay? So I'm saying, like, listen, bro, this fucking, like, it's all about looks or fucking being on dating apps, or I don't know what the fuck, whatever people are doing to meet each other. I'm basically saying, like, just go out and meet people, bro. Like, quit making it about how you look, or like you're only worthy of things, and like just quit putting limitations on feeling good and enjoying people, and just go out there and have fun. Who gives a fuck? Essentially is what I'm saying, right? And I feel like that's a fairly innocent comment. There's really nothing wrong with that. And then Mike comes in here. Mike comes in here and he rips me apart, dudes. He's like, again, if what I'm saying is wrong, which by the way, I at no point said what Mike is saying is wrong. I have a lot of respect for Mike, but he says again, if what I'm saying is wrong and what you're saying is right, then show results. Capital letters, 3 exclamation points. Show results. You aren't greeting women. You aren't meeting women by going out. If you are, I'll give you 10K right now for you of a photo with a girl above a 4. Meanwhile, my clients are with 10s. Okay, so I think Mike is the reason that Mike is like, I mean, Mike might just fucking be like trying to flex on me and like, status flex on me, whatever. Maybe it is an ego thing on his side. I don't really think it is an ego thing. I think Mike leaves comments like this because he's constantly getting challenged by dudes, and he took what I said as a challenge. I ended up actually responding. At Mike, I'm not on social media. I'm also not a fan of taking photos of myself. Otherwise, I would have receipts. I would, honestly. Going out and having fun. I actually do have like one picture of me with a chick that I picked up in Europe. It's the first day I was in Europe and I went out. I was like, I leave my apartment and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to meet girls. Like, fuck it, I just got here. I want to meet a chick. And then I remember the very first chick that I saw, I walked up to her, I approached her. She's this hot 18-year-old German girl, and she was down. And I ended up hanging out with her, and I got a picture with her and everything. Where she actually took a picture of us, and then she sent me the picture. Super hot girl, man. Okay, so going out and having fun does work for me. Your system works for you and your clients respect. All I can give advice on is what works for me. So that's what I said to Mike. But as you can see, Mike fucking came crazy, dude. Mike got me crazy as fuck. I thought it was really funny. Maybe one day I'll get Mike on my podcast, and it was just a big misunderstanding. But I don't give a fuck, dude. I still got respect for Mike. He's one of the realest. I would say, in my opinion, him and Owen. He and Owen are the realest. Rolo Tomasi as well are the realest fucking dudes out there, you know. But they're just in this climate where they're constantly being challenged by fucking dudes that are playing power games all the time. So, you know, I have empathy for Mike and where he's coming from. And then of course he's also trying to be like, here's a way to get in my program. He's also kind of advertising for himself. So I don't take it personal. You know, basically Mike just rejected me right there. And as you guys can see, I still think the guy is cool and I don't give a fuck. And if it does turn out that he actually doesn't like me, I can still respect him, but I just won't fuck with him. You know, I'll just be like, well, you know, I can't have a relationship with this dude because it's it's not good for me to interact with people that don't fucking respect me and love me for me. You know, just like I wouldn't interact with people that I don't love them for them. Okay, allow me to bring up my channel and we can go through the posts I was writing when I was wrapped up in a self validation or in a validation seeking loop. The thing that I've always been telling you guys to not get caught up in is what we're not going to examine. So let me share my channel with you. Okay. And let's go to my account. And let's go to my post. So, bros, these are, I'm actually working on my next post, like I told you guys, or I believe I told you guys at the beginning of the stream. I'm working on my next post, which is going to be basically breaking down Abramelin the Mage, so you can have it in writing. Because I know I made the last stream that is called How to Transform Yourself and Conquer the World, where I go into the Abramelin the Mage and the whole how to do alchemy on yourself, basically how to self-love rather than self-validate, because that's ultimately in my opinion, that's what I think is the goal that we should have at the end of this journey that we're on, is just to build a relationship with ourselves of self-love rather than needing to validate, you know? So in that process, I was like, this fucking book basically is how I did it, you know, and I break it down in the video. But I'm going to do a post for somebody that doesn't want to watch like a fucking 2-hour video where you can just read it. I already have the intro for the post. I already have the image I'm going to use for the post. Now I just have to actually write the meat of it's going to be broken down into phase 0, phase 1, 2, and 3. And then phase 0 is where you basically become broken or fragmented and it's out of your control. And why even it makes sense that you become fragmented, why you put yourself in a vulnerable position, because you do start out vulnerable. And then from that position, you have to become aware of yourself and reclaim the self through phases 1, 2, and 3. And then you'll see when you get to phase 3, you end up going full circle and going back to the same place you were in phase 0, but now it's coming from a place of awareness, self-love, healthy boundaries, and an understanding of how the system works and how what the system turns into when you don't take charge of it, you know? You basically have to take full accountability for your own happiness and your love, and you cannot place that responsibility on other things. You can only you're the one that's happy, that's responsible for your own happiness, and you're loving yourself. And it's all based on the relationship that you have with yourself and having healthy boundaries against things that break that relationship with yourself. Okay, so the very first post, which I invite you guys to go to my page, dudes. Go to my fucking page. Go to my fucking page. Okay, this is my fucking page. You're on my fucking page now. You're on my channel now if you're watching this. And go over to my post all the way on the right and scroll through all these posts. By the way, I wrote last year. I wrote in 2024 or 2 years ago. In 2023 and 2024. And this is when I was going, this is when I was caught in a validation loop, guys. So as I said in previous streams, this is when I was caught in a validation loop. The thing about it is, at this point when I'm writing these posts, I had been learning game for about 15 years at this point. And I had just been in Hawaii and Argentina. I had just gotten back into game, and I was going through this whole recharge or rampage of running through game now, you know? And at this point, I'm so deep into the game that my game is basically, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm like some world-class pickup artist or anything, but I was definitely proficient and skilled and not just your average dude going down there and trying pickup lines. I was fucking calibrated, okay? So my game was not as good as it could get, but it was fucking like 90% complete, you know? It was as good as it was going to get to a certain point, and especially from a validation seeking loop frame. So I'm in a validation seeking loop frame when I'm writing these posts, but I'm also good enough to get my needs met and even believe that the frame that I'm in, even though it's validation seeking, that it's still good enough for me to get what I want through it, you know? But ultimately, as I ended up finding out, and you'll see as my posts progress, that it was a drain on me, and it was actually an empty vessel that I was trying to hold up as my being my whole self, you know? So in the first post here, love is never enough. It has happened to me several times where I meet a girl, she is a perfect match for me, and I talk with her, and guess what? She likes me too. We are getting along. I get her number. It is all smiles, sunshines, butterflies, and rainbows when we part, and I do not get her. Brothers, I have caught girls staring at me so hard they might as well have been drooling considering how slack-jawed they were in the moment. I did not get any of those girls. The same thing happened to me every time. I thought I had it in the bag because we were such a perfect match, or because the girl was signaling me super hard before we started talking. And this echoes the sentiment of my opening sentence. Love is never enough. Okay, so what I'm saying here with love is never enough is just because a girl is showing you signs of affection, it's still not going to be enough. But we want it to be enough. You know, we want to believe that if we're in a validation seeking frame, that this girl is validating us and wants to submit to us, you know, but it's not enough. And really, it'll never be enough, even if she is fully on your nuts, you know, because if you don't love yourself and don't need her to love you to love yourself, it'll never be enough. And you'll start getting mad at her when she stops giving you the love, when she maybe her mood changes and shit like that. She'll never be able to give you enough love. She'll have to constantly be giving you this attention for you to feel good if you're in a validation seeking loop. This is not a fucking Disney movie. We're living in the post-apocalyptic period of the feminist movement and its effects on society. All I mean here is that feminism made it where women are not where women have a voice now, and they're not here for us to, they're not wombs that we impregnate. And it's not going to be where like you proclaim your love to the girl and then she's just like, oh my God, he selected me, and she submits to you. It's not like that. The girl has equal value now, has equal footing with you now, and it's more about you just having to select her. It's about you having a healthy relationship with yourself and you what you guys are creating together, not you giving her what she wants and then she just submits to you because you have all these wonderful things to give her. It's what you guys create when you're together. And it's effective. Well, we 100% live in a matriarchy, even though you can see here, I'm a little upset here. As you can see, a lot of these, when you're in a validation seeking frame, you tend to take these little jabs at shit. We're like, I'm upset that I'm not getting what I want out of things. So fuck these things. Fuck these things for not loving me. We 100% live in a matriarchy, even though the mainstream likes to portray otherwise. Since we are living in these matriarchal times, a lot of shit like soulmates, there's also something called twin flames, which is higher than a soulmate. And these perfect movie moments where everything falls into place is constantly being peddled to us in our media. I got blue pilled by this bullshit too, but I snapped the fuck out of it. Everything fun is constantly, yeah. Yeah, right here I'm basically still talking about that Disney movie shit, you know, where it's like, oh, that you like the girl and she likes you back, and that's gonna be enough to keep the relationship together. What I'm basically saying here is that that's not enough. There's still every day she has to, you know, we have to be constantly co-creating and creating this energy with each other, and both of us need to be coming from a place of self-love where us being with each other is an act of us being good to ourselves. And the moment that we stop feeling compelled to give to this frame, it's over. And we could still be very much in love, but there's just been a separation. We've grown apart, and we have to be able to accept that. But if we can't, and we need them to like us, otherwise we'll hate them. This is what I'm getting at with love is never enough. I got blue pilled by this bullshit too, but I snapped the fuck out of it. And I bring this up because this is negatively affecting y'all's game if you aren't aware of it, because all of my pickups have gone basically one of two ways. I think it is in the bag and I completely drop my frame and start just being myself and lose her, or I maintain my frame and let her fall into it. Allow me to explain. Okay, so again, here, number one is actually the better one. But because I'm in a validation seeking frame where I feel like I need to be performing a certain way and be a certain way to be loved, I don't think, see how I have a negative relationship with myself and I have a sort of self hate relationship with myself, and I'm using pickup to cover up that I actually don't love myself, but I have this pickup to present myself. And then in my mind as well, me investing into pickup is me trying to make myself better because, quote unquote, I love myself and I see myself as, and I'm putting in energy to improve my flawed self. But in actuality, it really is not self love, it's self hate. And I feel that I just can't be myself. Again, like I've always said, guys, the best pickup advice ever is be yourself and don't be a creep. And if that is not enough, if you need hours and hours of pickup advice and you can't just take be yourself and don't be a creep, and that's enough to for you to go out there and game, you might be coming from a place of emptiness rather than a place of wholeness. And then when I say here too, I maintain my frame and let her fall into it. Allow me to explain. Again, I'm holding up my frame, my pickup as this thing that I built, and it's my source of strength essentially, and she's going to try to test my frame, and my frame is so strong that it's become, because like I said, at this point my frame was very dialed in, you know. So in my mind, I'm holding up my frame as this beautiful superstructure that I built, and I know that she has nothing really to combat it. And when she tries to test it, she's going to fail. Her frame is much weaker than mine because she hasn't built up this superstructure like I had at this point. So she's going to lose to it, and then the strength of my frame is what's going to attract her, and she's going to be attracted to that strength, and that's what's going to make her pussy wet and make her submit to me, you know. So this is where I'm thinking that my strength comes from my frame, from my game, and not from me. Hence why I said in number one, just being myself is a trap, you know? This is what you see how this is all connecting back to love is not enough, you know? If I allow myself to fall into the feminine, we're soulmates, and this match is too good to not believe it is meant to be, to not believe it is meant to be mindset, I get too invested and I start leaning into the meaning of the interaction too much. That is the girl's role, not mine. I will say the meaning of the interaction is just at this point now is the the symbolism of the interaction, or the what the interaction shows me, what it reflects is if I'm coming from a place of wholeness or a place of emptiness, you know. So I say again, I do need to get invested. It's crazy how when you're coming from a validation seeking frame, the things I'm saying not to do are actually the things to do, you know. But it's a protective strategy where I'm like, I don't want to get too invested because then if I get rejected, it's gonna hurt. You know what I mean? And I need to rely on my frame, and that's gonna protect me. Where it's like, what the fuck, man? This is what is I mean by dropping my frame. I drop my masculine frame and take on her feminine frame. This causes me to start giving too much significance to our interactions, and she shall feel that, and that'll put too much pressure on the interaction. I will say I am correct there, where if I focus too much on, you know, showing her that I like her and that will she, that I love her and that she's this perfect angel for me and everything. Actually, that's why girls don't like that and think that's an ick. If you show a girl too much up front, if you're being simpy and shit like that, it puts the girl in a position. Also, if you're being too direct and you make this big deal about it, which by the way, you can be direct. It just depends on how you do it and on your delivery and where you're coming from. But if you're being direct as a strategy to show the girl how you're bold and how you don't play games and you're brutally honest or whatever, and it's like a sign of strength, it puts a lot of pressure on the girl when you're coming up flexing strength at her, where she has to like choose you or not, choose you or lose you in a sense, right? And it's like she doesn't want all this weird pressure around the interaction where, and then she's gonna feel too like if you're putting yourself out on the line like that and she rejects you, she's gonna not know how you handle it either, because most guys are coming from a place where they need the girl to like them for them to feel good about themselves, and to accept the girl or whatever and not talk shit to her. So it's like you put all this weird pressure on the girl where you don't just make it about feeling good and you make it about making it this big deal that she makes you feel good and that you can make her feel good. And let's fucking, what are we going to do? And like, it's this big deal that we're together right now and stuff like that, rather than just being together and that's enough. Yeah, even if she likes me, she pushes me away. Exactly, because I put too much pressure on her. The pressure shall make the interaction feel off to her, and she eventually starts acting awkward around me. All of a sudden, turn cold on me, and the interaction ends. Yeah, that's a lot of the time what happens too when girls go cold on you, dudes. And then here's a little symbol I got for that. That's what happens when the girl goes cold on you, dudes. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get through all of these fucking posts because it's a fucking fuck ton of them, and I don't want to be on for too long. But that's sometimes what happens when the girl goes cold on you, bros. It's because she's feeling pressure from you and like you're over texting her and you're all up in her grill when she hasn't really done anything to earn it and shit like that. And by the way, when I say she earns it, it's she hasn't been showing you equal investment, earning it in that sense. Where if you come into a pickup, right, especially the way that I'm going to be coming into my pickups now when I get back out there, it's I'm going to be coming in, I'm going to open. I'm going to just have fun with the open, just feel good opening, just like it's something that I want to do. So I'm just doing it. And then if I see that she's interested, I'm going to pull her in immediately and just start showing her interest, fucking around, being silly. And then she shows me interest and I call her cute and she calls me handsome. And if she likes me, I'm basically giving her an opportunity to show me interest and then to also receive interest from me. So if there's not this healthy back and forth of where you guys are just showing each other interest, it becomes weird when it's one-way traffic and you're the only one showing her interest. And if she's giving you windows of opportunity and you're taking them and showing her interest, but she doesn't return it back, you need to you need to push her away and be like, well, I guess she's not into me. And then sometimes, to be fair, maybe she's young and she just doesn't really know how to show interest and she's worried about being judged or whatever stupid shit. That's fine, but that's not going to be a healthy frame to come through because she's going to need constant reassurance. She's in a validation seeking frame. She's going to need constant reassurance to feel good about herself. And then she's going to show you interest as a tactic to get you to give her validation. Like everything I was going through in the master class 4-hour stream I did that was featuring Rick H. That's going to be her strategy if she's coming from a validation seeking frame, which to be fair, most girls are, because that's the girls' game. The girls are built to achieve validation through validation seeking. Unlike us, we can do it too, but that's not really our route. Our route to validation is to transcend the validation seeking frame. So if you're meeting girls that are like weird and insecure and they're trying to pull you down into the validation loop and blah, 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 you need to exit stage fucking left from those chicks, okay? What you do want are interactions where, like I said, you go up, you open, it's fun, you express interest, she likes it, she expressed interest back, you guys are cracking jokes being retarded with each other, and then these are just this feel good vibe you guys are creating are just opportunities for you guys to show interest and touch each other and make out with her. This is how you get the fast makeouts as well too, dudes. It's when you embody this frame. You understand that that's the whole purpose of the pickup. It's so you guys can show each other interest because it feels good. Because the purpose of the pickup is to feel good, and you're both doing things to make each other feel good because you guys make each other feel good. And that's what you're co-creating when you're together, this feel good feeling. And you can't really do that if you're not coming from a whole place. Because the moment the girl, because so the frame is very dynamic. Sometimes you're showing each other interest. Sometimes you're fucking around, not focusing on each other. Sometimes you're touching each other. Sometimes there's space between you. Sometimes she runs off with her friend and then she comes back to you later. Blah 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 blah. And if you're not coming from a place where you're whole and you love yourself and you don't need shit from her, the moment that she takes her attention and interest away and her love away, it's going to fuck with your frame. You're going to need her in a sense. And ultimately, you're going to fall back into the validation seeking frame and you're going to lose every time, bros, because the girls are built for validation seeking. They can actually accomplish that. And we're really not, we're really not. We're built to transcend it, dudes. Okay, next post. How many of these fucking posts do I have? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Fuck, I have a fuck ton, dudes. I don't know if I'm going to have time to go through fucking all of these. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I know I'm kind of just reading old posts of mine. I invite you to come and read them on your own. Give them a like, bros. Leave me a comment. I always appreciate feedback from you guys. I do these streams literally not to make any fucking money. I mean, it would be great if I started making money. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I really have no need to do them, guys. Like I have a job. I'm making money. I'm going to start traveling through the Americas, and I could even potentially go and begin traveling the world if I wanted to because I work remotely on my computer. I have zero need to do this. The only reason I'm doing it is for you guys, is to interact with you guys, and I enjoy the banter and the company. So yeah, please go check them out. I write these. I'm thinking about you guys when I'm writing them. I'm doing my best. Thanks, Vulcan. Yeah, man, I'm doing my best to share with you guys what I've learned, when I learn it, how I'm experiencing it, to see what resonates with you, to see what you can take away, and then you can also tell me what you're learning. And we're only gonna make each other better. It's all love, dudes. So when you get a chance, go check these out. Leave me a comment, show me some love, and I'd appreciate it a lot, guys. Okay. I don't know, dudes. Maybe I'm gonna go through I don't know, 5 or 6 of these. Let's see. Some of these are a little shorter, so I'll see. Maybe I'll get on a roll and fucking. Maybe I will be able to go through all of them. Fuck it, who knows? Call it the Siren. I never let her get me to waiver. This is the game. It is fucking bullshit. I agree because I want to be nice to her, but she needs me emotionally to not give a fuck, not need her in any way. Again, this is me falling back on. I mean, this still resonates now with the whole self-love thing, but I know when I was writing this, because I was in a validation seeking loop, I was writing this in the sense I can't need her. The strength of my frame doesn't come from her validation of it. The frame is just strong because I built a strong frame, And if at any point she starts seeing any chinks in my frame where it's built on her validation, she's gonna destroy it, and she's not gonna be able to respect it of its as a standalone force. What I'm saying here about the Siren is that girls do this thing where they try to get you to break frame. This is from my validation seeking place, right? Girls are going to try to get you to break frame because if they can get you to break frame, it exposes that your frame is weak, and they can now be like, got ya. This dude is bullshit. His frame is bullshit. It's not a standalone force. So when they try to get you to waiver, you can't, because then it basically gets you to show her your cards and shows that your frame is built on a house of cards built on sand, which in actuality, it really is a house of cards built on sand, because this whole time I was validation seeking and I was playing this fucking game with myself where I couldn't admit to myself that I was really just insecure and wasn't coming from a place of self-love and needed validation from girls to feel good about myself. And I actually was very weak, but I was like, I can't let them know that, because then the frame is not going to work. It's like I'm doing a fucking magic trick, And for me to get these girls, I need to do fucking magic. So you can see when I'm in this kind of frame, the shit that I'm writing. And I mean, I got to be honest with you guys. This sounds, like it has a lot of belief behind it. So it's very easy to to see it as legit, but this is all bullshit, dudes. All these posts that I'm reading of yours, all my fucking videos that I have up now, I have shame around them, honestly, because they're basically all bullshit because they're all coming from validation seeking behavior. And I would much rather just take them all down, start all over, just have these streams up because this is the actual way to go, you know? But I think it's important that I leave them up because it shows how I was before, and you can follow them to my journey to where I am now, you know? So it's important for posterity, you could say. But yeah, I'm ashamed of these posts. I really don't like them, dudes. I see a very weak version of myself when I read this shit, man. It's embarrassing. It causes me to be, yeah, she needs me emotionally to not give a fuck, not need her in any way. It causes me to be slightly pissed off at her, but she loves that shit. Yeah, it causes me to hate her because I can't just love her for being herself. I have to be playing this, doing this fucking magic trick to like fool her into liking me because I don't actually believe that I love myself. I don't actually believe I'm worthy of love just as myself. And because I have to be constantly playing this trick on her, I end up hating her for that. But really, I just hate myself, dude. Slightly pissed off. It causes me to be slightly pissed off at her. I'm really just slightly pissed off at me, and I'm projecting it onto her. This is another thing when when you're coming from a place of insecurity, we tend to project it. And really, when I'm saying shit like this, it's really how I feel about myself. But she loves that shit because it puts her in this role where she has to attract, use her feminine charms to get me to accept her in spite of her bullshit. Yeah. So as I'm saying here, when I was in this validation seeking frame, when I'm gaming the girl from a place of I can't show her weakness and I can't show her a frame that needs her in any way because that would show weakness, then it puts her in a place where she has to, where I don't like her because I have to be performing for her constantly and be walking this fucking tightrope. And all her fucking stupid behaviors from when I'm in this frame, right? All her stupid behaviors of trying to get me to like her and everything now takes on this negative connotation because I see it, it's like it's her trying to get me to break the frame and I have to stay strong without her, you know, and I can like her sometimes, but she has to earn it first. And it's like all this weird shit as opposed to now where I can just like her and she can still use her feminine charms and I can just be into her because it's something we're doing and I can like use my masculine charms, you know? And it's this fun back and forth we got going on because it's something the pickup is an extension of things we do to be good to ourselves, you know? And we just see something in each other's energy that complements us. We can feel it, you know? And you really can go off feel. And the pickup becomes this whole practice of you doing something to be good to yourself rather than to get something for yourself or prove to yourself that you deserve it. This like weird shit, you know? All the while, I think she is a godsend. Like, yeah, I actually just like her, but I can't show her that because I'm in some weird fucking frame here, validation seeking loop. I think she is a godsend, literal angel on earth, per my experience of her. But I have to base what I show her off what she shows me. Again, I'm playing this fucking stupid validation game, and I can't give her more than she gives me. And if I show, because then that puts the power dynamic in her favor, right? Because I'm playing a power game now, and she ends up submitting to me because I have more power, not because we just like each other, you know. And if I show her complete devotion all the time, meaning she can act however she wants, I will still show her attraction and loyalty. Yeah, I'm saying here that if I show her complete devotion all the time, meaning no matter what she does, I always just fucking simp on her, basically. That's a no go. I still think that's still good advice, even though this is coming from a wrong place. I do agree that it's still healthy to have boundaries, and if you're picking up on behaviors from her that are trying to put you in a validation seeking frame or where she's trying to subjugate you to her and it's basically not a feel good frame and a frame where you guys are doing it to make each other feel good, then yeah, you need to shut that shit down, dudes. I also believe that any stuff with the relationship, she needs to be the initiator because that's her role. And I don't want to steal that role from her. So she should be asking you, are we boyfriend and girlfriend? She should be giving you signs that she wants to get married. Like she does need to work for the relationship, and that's how she does it. We work for the relationship too, but we do it in a different way. I don't really want to get into that too much right now because I'm not in a relationship right now, but I just want to say that, like, it is her role. She does need to put work in for the relationship, because if she doesn't, she shall not value it, you know? I mean, I will say that don't get too wrapped up on that, where you need her to constantly be showing that she's putting work into the relationship, because that's going to fall back into like you need her to do things for you to feel good about it. You should feel good about the relationship just because it's an expression of you feel something you do that's good for you, you know, and the relationship is fulfilling and an addition to your life, and it allows you to. It's an extension of your love for yourself and her love for herself and you guys' love for each other and what you guys create when you're together. So I mean that's enough. But I will say, just when we're talking about technically the roles of each other, it is her role, so don't take it away from her, to ask what the relationship is about, to be focusing on how the relationship stands and like all these little dynamics, you know? If she starts doing it in a toxic way where it's validation seeking, or she's using it to reassure herself because she's coming from a place of insecurity, it's our role to shut it down, you know? When she starts mismanaging the relationship and doing stupid shit, it's our job to shut that shit down. Just like I was saying earlier, it's her role to shut us down when we open and approach. And if she's not, physically interested, she has to be like, no, I'm not interested, because otherwise we're gonna keep going. Her lack of saying no from our perspective is almost like a silent yes to keep going. So it's the same with the relationship. It's on her to be doing stuff for the relationship, trying to elevate it to the next level. And if she's doing stupid shit, it's our job to tell her no, set a boundary, and be like, fuck that, and eventually end the relationship if she's just being toxic. Back to how I ended my last post about the interaction ending. Yeah, when I was talking about love is not enough, and that whole like insecure thing I was coming from, where I was like, me liking her is not enough. I need to hold a strong frame, that stupid shit that I was saying. I learned how to not give a fuck by literally not giving a fuck about a girl anymore. Basically, me saying not giving a fuck about her needing to validate my frame. My frame is a standalone force. After she let me know she was not interested, giving a fuck a girl anymore after she let me know she was not interested. Yeah, me, I'm saying here when I get rejected. See, here are some little leaks here of my relationship with fucking rejection. I'm having some leaks here about where I was like, I finally was able to make my frame a standalone force, because if she rejected me, I was able to still be strong without her approval or without her validation. I had started giving her too much investment without her having worked for it enough. Here we go. Some more of her working for it, because I'm trying to maintain the power dynamic in my favor. Once she told me because I'm in a validation seeking loop and I'm wrapped up in the power dynamics. Once she told me she was not interested anymore, I stopped giving her attention whenever I would be in class with her. Blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about this girl that was into me in class, and then I noticed that she stopped liking me. She went cold on me, and then I basically was like, "Well, fuck you, then, bitch. I'm gonna stop fucking putting effort in for you, unless you put effort into me." And then she became reattracted when I fucking pulled away, because it put the strength back in my frame, and it showed to her that my frame is strong without her. And then that strength that she detected ended up reattracting her, And I stay here. Reattraction is real attraction. So here I'm communicating a tactic where you come in strong. She gets the initial attraction from you coming in strong, because she feels that strength of your frame when you come in confidently and fully believing in your own frame. And then when she pulls away, because she's naturally going to pull away at some point, or maybe even you push her away, when you don't give a fuck about her, she comes back, and the attraction is even stronger, because she feels that how your frame is strong without her. Again, this is part of this fucking magic trick that I'm fucking playing. This is the game, and you shouldn't be having to do magic, boys. This is the game in a nutshell. She shall feel attraction for me, and it shall activate the reptilian feminine part of her brain. Yeah, basically, Shane, she'll be attracted to that strength. She'll start touching your chest, blah blah blah. She shall become frustrated by me and push me away. I might also telegraph too much interest, and she shall push me away. What am I saying here? Submit. I have in return show her I am unaffected. Yeah, so when I start showing her like IODs and stuff, so I might preempt this strategy where she pushes away, she pulls away, and then I fucking don't give a fuck. And then she gets reattracted via the feeling the strength of my frame. I might preempt this and get ahead of her, which also me getting ahead of her in the frame also is another power tactic where it puts power in my favor and it causes her to be attracted to the strength of my frame, not even me, really, you know? So when I'm saying I push her away, that's a tactic where you push her away, you IOD her to then get her to feel that how you don't need her and you keep feeling good about yourself without her. And that makes her feel how strong your frame is a standalone force. Or you also maintain frame when she pulls away if you show a little bit too much interest too fast, if you're caught in this power dynamic frame game. And I'm talking about how that strength works, how you create this strength you create this magic within the frame, and how that's going to attract her. And then here I'm talking about when she pulls away, that's her siren move. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm saying it's a siren because when she uses her feminine charms to try to get you to drop frame and need her and shit like that. Sirens are from Greek mythology, where sailors used to say that they would see sirens singing and they look so beautiful from far away. And then the sailors would jump out of the boats back in ancient Greece and swim toward the sirens. And then in actuality, the sirens were like these evil demons that would, like, once you got close to them, their true face would come out and these fucking teeth would come out and they would eat you alive, you know? And it's a reference to that, how the girl is trying to get you to drop frame by using her hotness and giving you validation and give you validation for then you be like, you know what, that was all the game, I was just pretending to be strong. And then you're just like, I just want your validation. And then when she gets you to do that, you lose. And it's a trick that she's trying to do. And this is me trying to be like, don't let it work on you, because again, I'm stuck in a fucking validation seeking loop, boys. Okay, so that was that one. Into the Storm. What is this one? Fuck, man, these are long as fuck, dude. Let me see. Pure is a purist, but it needs to be tested in the physical before it become real. I would be messing up big time if I started taking these silly females seriously again. In my mind, I have come to recognize that the feminine is much more entrenched in the physical than me. What the fuck am I saying? Where everything in the story fell into place. There is no, when Mystery said fake it till you make it, that was a pile of shit. Faced it till I shaped it is what in faced it till I shaped it into what I wanted it to be is what I did. Even if we were a match, I still have to make her like me by getting ahead of her by establishing my frame from the start. Otherwise, again, yeah, I'm still going looping on this. I need to prize the frame above all else and maintaining its strength to maintain the power dynamic because that's what she's attracted to. She's attracted to my strength, the strength of my frame. And that's how I was battling the validation loop that I was trapped in by not giving away too much power up front, where I would stimulate her with attraction. I would come in with strength. She would feel the strength. That's what would maintain my power when I would approach. And then when I see that she felt it and she was getting attracted to my groundedness in my frame, I would start to pull away a little bit and not give her too much and make her work for it by pulling away and seeing if she leaned in to get her to work for it. And I would have to maintain this dynamic where I'm the one giving the validation by not giving too much. And when I do give it, it feels good and she works for more. And I'm giving out like little treats to her, you know? And then the sex for me is me giving her validation because she's constantly working for it. You see how this is exhausting, dudes? Because if at any point she pulls back and she's like, isn't working for me, I have to now maintain frame without her. And she might not come back, even if she likes me, because it's exhausting to her to have to constantly be working for me, essentially to be constantly validating my frame by being like, it's so strong and I want it, you know? But I mean, it would work. It would get me laid, and it would work in the short term. It would even work in the long term, but it's just like constant management of this power dynamic, you know, to maintain your frame above all as the thing that your strong frame is the prize that keeps her in the fucking relationship rather than you know? So rather than looking at yourself and working on yourself and being a better human being and being with her, you're wrapped up in maintaining a strong frame with her, you know? This is why I said that even when I had a girlfriend and everything, I was looking up girlfriend game and shit like that, you know, because I had to basically become this guy that all I was my frame, and I wasn't even anything without it. I was empty without it, you know? It was all fugazi, boys. It was all fucking bullshit. I hope this one isn't too long. I mean, these are good, dudes. These are interesting. Go read them. You know, I think they're actually very good for explaining how to set up a pickup frame correctly, but it's just from a validation seeking point. They're interesting to see how that frame works, even though the frame is bullshit, you know. These I think these do a good job of explaining how the frame works. So they're interesting in that sense. If you're just interested in just like the technical aspects of how to maintain a power dynamic and pickup. Although I'm not the biggest fan, I'm not a fan, you know, of having a frame like this, of making it about the frame. I do not start at 0. I start at -1. Oh, I think this is where I start talking about. I'm starting to get rejected at this point now. Like I'm starting to have difficulty with dealing with rejection. I think these posts down here, I wrote over the course of maybe like a month or something, maybe even like 2 or 3 weeks. But I start getting to this point where the rejection is starting to get to me, you know, and it's starting to become this thing where like I'm needing to motivate myself. I'm starting to have to do this pre-pickup ritual where I need to motivate myself and and remind myself why I'm the strong one and reclaim my power. So when I go into the frames, I can come in with this strength because if I don't come in strongly, then I will have no power when I start taking it away to try to get the girl to start chasing me, you know? So now I'm dealing with like not coming in to the frame being affected by the possibility of rejection. You know, I'm playing like a fucking mind, I'm doing a mind fuck on myself. But I start talking about it here. This is why I'm saying I start at -1. I do not start at 0, which would be neutral. I started -1. Pickup purgatory is real, and I want to help you guys step out of it and into some kitty. I remember saying in my last reaction video that I am always in pickup mode. Yeah, the one of the videos that I posted. When I leave the house, and what is meant by that is that I'm keeping my mind in pickup mode. Mean like I'm saying, I'm keeping my mind in pickup mode, meaning like I'm constantly remotivating myself about like why my frame is badass, why I even do pickup to keep my momentum going where I feel strong and I have this pickup thing that allows me to meet girls and it's so awesome and I can meet girls now, you know? And I need to keep myself in this frame so I can contend with potential rejection, you know? I am reinforcing beliefs as I walk around because I know if I do not, my mind shall naturally give me a reason to keep me safe from potentially feeling that sting of being rejected. Yeah, this is where my mind is going to keep me safe from feeling from admitting to myself that I'm actually just fucking insecure and becoming aware that all this energy I've invested into building this pickup frame has been a waste of my time and I've been a fool the whole time, you know? I wasn't able until I was able to admit that I was able to transcend it, boys. Yeah, it is a useful thing, man. Well, what do you? I mean, it's a use. Sorry, I didn't see what I was saying when you wrote that comment, but it's a useful thing if you want to be keeping yourself where you prize the frame above all, you know, because that's what pickup is. You know, pickup is essentially you just building up this frame that allows you to meet girls, and based on the strength of the frame that you've built up, the stronger it is, the hotter girls you can meet. And you know, the frame consists of many things: your game, your looks, your money, and your status. So if you have a complete fucking repertoire of game and you have looks, money, status, and game, meaning you have a strong frame, then you can pick up hotter girls, you know. But it's always gonna be about you having to maintain that frame. It could never be about you're just enough, you know. So it's very exhausting. So the frame, I will say, it can be useful to get you out there and get you started and start to believe that you have something that girls will like you for if you're insecure. But ultimately, you're going to have to drop it, man. It's ultimately not useful. It's ultimately has limited use. I am reinforcing beliefs as I walk around because I know if I do not, my mind, yeah. Pick up purgatory is just a place though that I can exit whenever I want. I just have to choose to rather than wait for it to change into what I want. Yeah, here I'm just saying I just have to choose to basically submit to my frame that I have this thing, allow myself to believe that I have this strong frame that girls select me for, rather than feeling like I need to build it up more. I'm basically saying I already have the frame. I need to just it. I just need to allow myself to believe that my frame is strong enough. You know, I'm kind of in the right realm here because I am kind of saying like I need to just love myself and that'll be enough. But I'm basically saying I need to just love my frame and trust in it, and that'll be enough. rather than having to keep thinking I need to keep building my frame up more. Because, bros, I'm so in the validation seeking here. It's fucking embarrassing. The only difference between when I didn't used to approach and now that I do is that I have reference experiences to cancel out that -1 with a +1. The +1 being the strong frame that I use to maintain power in the pickup and be able to actually start at 0 when I decide to approach. Okay, yeah. Even though my mind knows better and is prepared for whatever happens, my body does not believe me yet. Yeah, meaning that my body, it's crazy too, because when my body doesn't believe me, that means that intuitively I know that because I need this frame, I'm actually coming in very weak. But I'm doing this magic trick and using the frame to show myself as strong, you know? So when I'm saying here that whatever happens, my body does not believe me yet, my body's actually correct. And I was ignoring what the fuck my body was telling me, that I was caught in a fucking validation loop and I was fucking basically not loving myself. I need to my mental +1, blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, check out, post out if you want. Next one, Paul Jacob calls it penetration. Make her feel, yeah, here I'm talking about when I enter the fucking frame, I need to come in strong and my strength shall open her up, you know? But again, this ties back to me having to have a strong frame that I can come in with. And then I have to protect the strength of the frame because ultimately the strength that she feels from my frame is what she's going to be attracted to. That strength, the strength of my frame. Rather than in actuality, I need to be attracting her with my strength of my self-love, of myself, of loving my own strength, you know? Love for my strength, not for my frame. Fuck, it's so crazy how subtle the differences are too, you know? Understanding the assignment. Let me see, what's the empty your mind? Yeah, this is more of like I need to not get wrapped up in believing that I need to build my strength, my frame up more. I need to just believe in the strength of my frame, and the girl will be attracted to that strength. You know, it's more. This is why I'm saying like you have to come in with an empty cup, meaning you have to come in with no like doubts over the strength of your frame. You know, a lot of this stuff is actually pretty good, bros, but it's just so focused on giving my frame all this value rather than giving it to myself. It's really sad when I read this, like what I'm the fucking shit I'm wrapped up in, you know? Let's see. What is fucking the shit? Yeah. Okay, so this is again, you guys are seeing that my posts are starting to become very much related with like evading rejection, but the way that I'm dealing with it is like evade rejection, believe in my frame. My frame is going to give me strength. It's going to give me access to girls. That's motivated. I can come in strongly. I can come in with belief. When I come in with belief, I need to believe in the strength of my frame being enough. I need to not let her break my frame. And that'll maintain the strength of my frame as a standalone force. She's going to feel that strength and she's going to get wet and submit to the strength of my frame because girls want to submit to strength. And ultimately, when girls are testing you, they're testing you for your strength. Listen, now that even in this self-loving frame, I'm still going to get tested. You know, I'm still going to get tested. But the way that I'm going to pass the test is going to be much differently now because the way I'm going to pass the test is I'm just going to see it for what it is and be like, oh, she's trying to get validation from me, or she's trying to see if I'm trying to get validation from her. And I'm just going to be like, that's fucking stupid. I can make fun of what she's doing, or I can just not give a fuck. And ultimately, I don't do it because I see it for the trap that it is. And I'm only going to do things. And even when I pass the test, it's going to come from a place where I'm making fun of her or making fun of what she's doing because I'm being good to myself and I'm pumping my own state and just feeling good within myself. It's not even this need to protect my frame or protect myself. It's just literally me just having fun with what's going on, you know? And when I pass the test like that, I also have noticed, dudes, that because girls are so, you know how girls are so like malleable, like they're so moldable, like they'll mold themselves to whatever, they'll shape themselves to whatever force around it, and they're very docile like that and fluid. If it's crazy, I bet if you took a girl, a very toxic girl. Okay, you'll see it too with girls will have different identities when they have different boyfriends, you know, like the girls really do shape themselves to you. So it's like if we have this frame of self-love and everything that I've been saying during the stream, and the girl's going to pick up on that, she's going to pick up on not only the strength of it, meaning the how it's a standalone force. Like you love yourself because you love yourself and you don't need anybody to love you, or you don't need any proof from the outside world to love yourself. You just love yourself because you're you, and you want to be good to yourself because you love yourself and you're a gift to yourself, you know? She's going to feel that standalone force in that. And then when she starts picking up on your vibe and your energy, she's going to end up shaping herself to you and result in her loving herself more too and picking up your frame. Every once in a while, she might get confused and break, especially with the younger girls. You know, if you want a younger girls, she might not even know who she is really, and she's going to be looking up to you to help her base her identity and learn who she is through your frame. You know, and it's like you could maybe even take a girl that's very toxic with one dude because the guy is very toxic, and then you put her with me, and she's an absolute sweetheart. You know, so it's very important, dudes, that it that we understand how our frame works. We have healthy boundaries and everything. So we are self loving and being good to ourselves. And because ultimately it's going to affect how the girl acts when she's with us, you know? And it'll be crazy too how you could have a girl that is this wonderful princess when she's with you, but then when she's with somebody else, she's a total bitch, you know? Which is why I'm saying it is also important to see how she acts when she's not with you, you know? You want a girl that genuinely is a good person. Because as I was saying before, when you do the ultimate creation, when you guys, because ultimately the relationship is about you guys, what you guys create when you're together, and ideally is to create these good feelings and this love for each other and yourselves and what you create. Ultimately you're going to create a baby from that energy, you know, and if a baby born out of actual love is going and then raised in that kind of environment is going to create a beautiful lovely loving thing, as opposed to yeah, it's just not only is it good for you, it's good for her, and then it's good for what you're going to bring into this world, guys. Like you're going to create more self-love in others. Like it is your responsibility not only to yourself but to your future children to create this environment within yourself so you can create that environment for your family, man. All right, let's see what this next one. It's probably going to be more me dealing with rejection and maintaining the strength of my frame stuff. I am sitting at a cheap restaurant in Europe after. Oh yeah, this is when. Yeah, I remember. This is when I went to go get my my student residency card in Spain, so I could legally be there. I am sitting at a cheap restaurant in Europe after turning in my temporary residency papers, thinking about I forget what, and this perfect girl walks by. I see her only literally for a second, and within that moment, I recognize how beautifully she is my exact type, and also decide not to approach. I'm drinking a beer and waiting for my food, and I haven't paid yet. Damn, I can't chase after her. Yeah, this is I remember too, where I was dealing with not approaching. So I was dealing with trying to build enough momentum and believe in my frame enough so I don't fear rejection, and a rejection doesn't affect my ability to believe in the strength of my frame. But then I was also dealing with not needing to approach to feel good about myself and the frame that I have, you know? Basically, more stuff just like feeling good about this frame that I built, whether I approach girls or not. It's more of this trick of holding up my frame, pedestalizing my frame, and being like, my strength is strong, whether the girls like it or not, whether I get rejected or not, or whether even I approach or not. And I'm constantly, this is why I'm even fucking writing these fucking articles, dudes, because it's me doing more of this mind fuck of just basically submitting all my power to my frame, to my master that is this frame that I built up over the last 15 years at this point, maybe even 16 years. I think this is, no, this is still in 2023. 15 years at this point, you know, it's like, and I eventually had to fucking see the frame for what it is and let it go. And it was very difficult to, I mean, it was actually very easy to do that once I actually saw what was going on, but it was very difficult for me to do it when I was wrapped up in the grips of the frame that I had built, you know, the superstructure. I chase after her. I sit there imagining how the interaction would. Yeah, I'm going more into like not approaching to make the frame fucking standalone force. I start thinking about the other two other stuff. Yeah, I'm thinking about how I did an approach. I finished paying for my food and I head back into the field. I dislike being in on the hunt for the poo nanny mindset. So I walk around focus on anything but that nanny. Again, I'm trying not to focus on this is crazy. I'm trying not to fucking focus on the girls and wanting them because that would be me prizing them over my frame. My frame is the prize. And I have to maintain that so the girls can love me for the strength of the frame that I have. As they are walking by, the girls cross my gaze while I am while it's on his way to look at something else. I'm not too focused on the girls in particular. Then I see a girl that pulls my gaze toward her, and I quit looking at whatever to look at her. I check to see if she is my type, and she is. I step toward her. Oh yeah, this other girl rejected me too. And it's me just me being like, no matter what happens, rejected, I approach or not, whatever, my frame is strong and is a standalone force. And I have to keep doing this, as I'm telling you guys, because I truly believe that the girls were attracted to the strength of my frame, not of me. It is always all right. Next one. Oh yeah, shoot this. I think this is a shoot your shot. Rule number one for pickup. Yeah, I start talking about I'm loading my rifle to take my first shot, qualifying to be an infantryman, blah blah blah. Rule number one for pickup, and I would still love to hear what you guys. Yeah, every time I open it is a bit awkward because I always make sure to see her from the front, not the back. Okay, most approaches that are a fail typically manifest by the girl acting confused toward, awkward, because, or dismissive of me. They are rarely ever rude, but equally when it goes well, even when she lights up, at least in my experience, there's always that awkward moment when a stranger, me, randomly walks up to her and gets in her, or if it is more than one, their space. As long as I can stay calm and don't give a fuck whether she or they react favorably or not. Again, this is me. As long as I believe in my frame and don't need them to validate it, I can maintain a strong frame, then it shall go how it was actually meant to go. Yeah, how it was actually meant to go from them being able to feel the strength of my frame. Only allowing my focus to concentrate on fear or uncertainty, which will again put the strength of my frame into question, shall prevent me from taking my shot accurately. Yeah, here I'm saying basically that when I shoot my shot, I need to make sure that I'm shooting it accurately, meaning from a place of strength, where I hold my frame up as the most valuable thing in the interaction. And because it is, and I'm able to manage it correctly and defend the girl's test and attempts to knock it down, then I can accurately enter the frame with me as the strong one, my frame as the strength, as the prize, and then the girls can naturally submit to the strength that my frame has. Again, I'm cooked when the way that I'm thinking, bros, because it's the frame is bullshit. It's an illusion. It's a superstructure I built to cover up an insecurity. What's actually my strength is me and how much I love myself and me understanding that the interaction is me being good to myself and me believing in that and the importance of being good to myself and me being strong in that regardless of her reaction. You know, a lot of this is valid because my frame is now focused centered on me just loving myself and not having needing to have this pickup game and this strong game for her to like me. Now it's just based on liking myself. I guess I'm still in a frame, but my frame has now just become me just loving myself and me seeing the world and things I do in the world as extensions of me being good to myself, you know? So it's like as long as I see I truly do love myself and nothing can affect that, my frame is going to be strong. And I can take an accurate shot. You know, I can just be myself and I can just be honest and it's an honest pickup, you know, and I'll be accurate. Like she'll actually like me for me and that'll be an accurate attraction or a true attraction that I've gained just for me and for loving myself. And because she wants to love herself too. And it's like, I mean, don't get it wrong. She's still attracted to the dynamic, boys. But we do the dynamic for ourselves ultimately, and we invite her into it, and we only allow her into it if she doesn't try to fuck it up and rearrange things and try to use it to validate herself and try to fuck things up and manipulate us. Like we still have to protect ourselves from these toxic women, you know? She should be gaming me too. This is post for girls. Oh yeah, yeah. This is more again. This is more me talking about the girls need a fucking to have to pick up guys. Basically, they need to contribute to your frame, and if they're not, then if they're not trying to game you, then they don't deserve you, and they need to be working for you. But again, I'm coming from a place of where I have this pickup frame that I need to protect, so the girl will like me. At first, I needed the boldness to approach, but I never need that anymore. Again, I'm dealing with rejection again. Now I struggle with the boldness to get rejected. Yeah. Yeah, this is where I'm saying, like, I have to not give a fuck about getting rejected, and it's hurting me to get rejected. The reason it was hurting me to get rejected is because I was basing my identity on, or my ability to feel good on getting validation from girls. I couldn't just give it to myself. So when I get rejected, it hurts because it brings to the surface that I'm actually damaged and empty. And now I have to run away from it or like do a fucking a mental gymnastic to flip it over in my mind and be like, no, I'm actually not hurt. I actually don't care. When in actuality, I'm fucking hurt because I'm coming from an empty place and the rejections are bringing that to the surface because essentially the girl is being like, because like I'm telling you guys, I'm coming in with like, I believe in my frame and my frame is what's going to get me the girl. The strength of my frame is what's going to get me the girl. So then when I come in and I fully believe that and the girl rejects me, number one, the frame that I have is serving a protective function where when she rejects me, she rejects my frame. So it protects me in that sense. But also, because when she does reject me, and she's actually rejecting my frame because I've invested so much of my love and identity and ability to love myself into this frame that I've built up. When she rejects that frame that I'm coveting when I'm coming in, it fucking hurts because my whole identity is wrapped up in that frame. And it hurts because not only one is she rejecting my identity that's wrapped up in that, she's also rejecting the frame and just leaving me exposed raw and I feel weak, and that hurts too because there's no strength there. She's basically sucking out my soul, you know. So uh, I'm trying to dodge this pain that I'm feeling when I'm getting rejected. When honestly, I should have been leaning into it. Just to go back to my frame now, like now when I come in, I still guess I have a frame that I'm coming in with, you know, but I don't need it to I don't need it to attract her. I don't in the past when I would come in and I had this frame that I knew was strong and that's what was getting me girls and I was investing my identity into it because that's the only way that it's actually going to be a standalone force, you know? And then when she rejects it, it hurts because my identity is wrapped up in it. Now when I walk in with the frame that I have now with this self-loving frame and everything, I'm not using it as a trick, as a magic trick to trick the girl into believing that I'm actually strong through a strong frame. The frame is just an extension of me actually loving myself, as opposed to before, where the frame was a superstructure that I was using to convey strength, to THV in a sense, right? Because I was actually covering up weakness. My frame no longer does that. My frame is just now an extension of my love for myself and how I am being good to myself because it allows me, because I'm putting myself in situations and through this frame, I'm interacting with the girl and we're loving each other and blah, blah, blah. But I'm not basing my value on my frame now. My frame is just, I hope I'm making sense, dude. It's very subtle, you know. If anything I'm saying isn't making sense, man, hit me up in the chat. If you're catching the replay, leave me a fucking comment. This shit can get fucking twisted up, dudes. Believe me, I understand how it could sometimes sound like I'm fucking talking in circles or wrapping myself up into a fucking ball of yarn, you know, of tangled yarn. In the beginning, I talked about what the fuck am I talking about here? Oh yeah, mind fuck. In the beginning, I had to get over the fact that I had no idea what I was doing, and overall, the identity level embarrassment I felt for doing something I was completely inept at in front of another person. This is why in the beginning I had to build this boldness to approach by rationalizing that I was okay to do so because it was not this huge deal I was making it out to be. Yeah, I was basically being like, I'm not being rejected. I'm just building a frame to get me girls, and my frame is being rejected. So that's how I was trying to manage it there. Even if I suck at it, she'll help me if she's into it. Yeah. She'll help me if she's into it because she likes the strength behind it, you know. But again, I'm drawing my strength from having this pickup game that I'm using to get her. It's not actually coming from me into it. And even if I'm perfect at it, she'll shut me down if she's not, you know. She'll shut me down. Well, anyway, I've been going into it. She'll shut me down to test it, or she'll shut me down because she just doesn't like me and doesn't give a fuck that I have this wonderful frame. Once I developed the nerve boldness to approach, however, the complexion of what I feared changed. I had to overcome a new fear. Instead of being concerned with feeling like an idiot because I had no frame, no idea, no game, what I am doing, failing even though I am good enough is a whole different level of mind fuck to overcome. Yes, failing even though I have this game that I built up, it hits different. You know, it's a different level of rejection. It's much deeper because I've invested so much into of myself and my energy into building this game that I believe in so much that allows me to show strength that when it gets rejected, it just reminds me that all along I've actually haven't thought I'm good enough. I'm actually just insecure and it hurts for me to deal with that. That's what I'm talking about there. It's like this mind fuck. And then I have to ignore it. I have to ignore it and be like, no, it doesn't matter that it hurt and that I feel insecure. I need to just like forget about that and reinvest into my frame and basically forget about myself and hate myself and not value myself and value my frame instead that I built up, you know? And it's like, it creates this crazy fucking imbalance. This is getting overly long. Yeah. So this is the mind fuck. Yeah, totally, dudes. Let's see, how many do I have left? Yeah, I have a few more left. All right, I think I am going to make it through the whole thing, boys. So I'm almost finished. I hope you guys are seeing though with each one of these posts. I hope you guys are seeing the trap of being caught in a pickup loop, you know, in a validation seeking loop. This is why I'm always telling you guys to drop game, right? Because you end up focusing on building this game to show it as a sign of your strength and your skill and your intelligence and your worthiness. And you have to basically end up investing all this energy into protecting that frame and maintaining its strength and loving it and all this shit. And rather than investing all this energy into loving your frame and building up this frame, you need to drop that game and just take the energy and focus on your fucking self and loving yourself and all that shit. And that's what I was talking about in the fucking last stream when I'm talking about how to transform yourself and conquer the world. You know, like this is all fucking bullshit. You guys can see I'm investing all this energy and doing all this mental gymnastics so I can love my frame and build my frame up and believe in my frame when I should just be investing that energy into believing in my fucking self, which I wasn't doing because I didn't want to face that I didn't think I was fucking good enough and that I was actually just scared. All right, be attractive. How long is this? Fuck, this is long as fuck, too. Before this gets too long, I'll state my point. In the beginning, I had to develop this boldness to approach because I didn't feel the value of what being a man that can approach has. Yeah, I didn't have a sense of strength, so I built this frame to get a sense of strength, and now the girls can like me because I'm strong, because I believe that girls like me because I'm strong, and I need this thing to show it to them. I can't just be strong as myself. I would be thinking what I needed to do or say. I would watch videos I would be thinking when I was building up my frame, you know, I would be thinking about what I needed to do or say. I would watch videos to help me so I knew what to do or say or think. I seldomly ever watch videos anymore. Honestly, most of my feed is UFC, rave dance move, a little bit of news, blah, blah, blah. Now, since I have built that confidence about my approaches, about having my approaches dialed in, now that I built this fucking game frame that is very strong now and I can use it to fucking convey strength rather than just doing it through my personality and being myself, I have to get over the not wanting to fear of getting rejected because I don't want my frame to get rejected because you see how much power it gives the girls when I've built up this huge frame and I know it's strong and I've tested it in the field and then the girl can just reject it in a second because my frame is bullshit. She's rejecting me. And then I try to play this trick on me where I'm like, she didn't reject me. She rejected my frame. And it's like, no. And I need to invest more into my frame and come off more strongly. Like, no. You take all this power away from her when you stop focusing so much on building up this game and having this perfect fucking dialed in fucking approach. And when she rejects that, you take that power away that she has to just crush your frame essentially, even though like I'm trying to be like, no, it didn't affect me. It fucking did. And she fucking destroyed it in 2 seconds by fucking rejecting it. You take that power away when I'm just like, okay, yeah, you know, she's actually just rejecting me. She's actually just not feeling me. However, I don't need shit from her. I'm good on my own. And if she doesn't like me, that's fine. That's why I was showing you guys the Tristan Tate video in the fucking beginning. You know, it's like, you don't need to get mad at her for rejecting you. You can just be like, you know what? She wasn't feeling me. And that's good. That was an act of self love for herself. That was a boundary for herself where she was like, I don't like you. And I know that I won't end up liking you. I can't invest energy into you. It would be not me being good to myself. You know, I'm not interested. I can just be like, I respect that. And then I can just be like, okay, I can still feel good about myself. She didn't reject my frame. She didn't reject my ability to love myself for who I am. I mean, she did reject who I am, but it doesn't affect me, you know? That's a personal thing for her. Because this, after facing this feeling some of the times and approaching, even though I think I'll get rejected, I've noticed that being rejected has a lot to do with her, not me. That's so much fucking cope because she can't handle it or I'm too much for her. Sometimes I just don't feel right to her. She generally is not interested in me, but a lot of times she just isn't confident enough in the situation. And the pattern break I just gave her makes her feel that she has no idea what. Yeah, like this is more me saying like sometimes my frame is so strong that when I come in and she feels this strength, it catches her off guard and she gets scared because she feels the strength of it and it puts pressure on her. So she naturally just rejects me. Again, this is more me being like, my frame is so strong. I love my frame. Thank God I have this frame and it's so strong and I get girls and I have to love it because it's what gets me pussy. All right, dudes, almost to the end here. Oh yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I've got really 4 more. Let's see, what's this one? More fucking hardcore cope here. This is so embarrassing, guys. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is just the one where I was saying that I'm going to start traveling. So this isn't actually. This is me just inviting you guys. Like, if you guys want to come on my fucking trip with me through through the Americas, like, let's go, dudes. Let's fucking go. You got to fund yourself, but I mean, let's go out and game together, you know? I wonder where, I don't even know where most of you guys live, you know? It is possible that I could be traveling one day and fucking be in your hometown or wherever the fuck you are, and we could go game together. Like, I'm always down to go game with people, dudes. Like, it's fun. Just, you know, don't be a drain on me, but I mean, I won't be a drain on you either, but it's just like, I love meeting people and going out and gaming with them, you know, and motivating each other. Oh yeah, this is just about some girl that I wanted to kiss, and I was like fucking one-nighting over her, and I was like, man, I should have kissed her, man. I hope I see this girl again, man. That girl was, her name is Kai. That gay, that I still think about that girl, man. That girl was just so perfect, and I fucked it up. I remember I fucked it up with her because she was clearly into me. That moment that I'm talking about where I was thinking about kissing her, she was into me and she was standing in front of me, looking like staring down, like feeling into herself, waiting for me to pick her chin up and just fucking lay one on her, you know? But I remember not doing it because I was like, this is actually back when I was caught in this frame where I wouldn't ask girls for their numbers either. Where I was like, no, I have to not need the girls and I need them to escalate on me. And it's because I was in this weird thing where I was like, I have to put my frame ahead of the girls. It's so crazy how game ends up becoming this like almost form of masturbation because you don't even do it because you like the girls anymore. You do it because you like having a strong frame and how having a strong frame makes you feel strong and it becomes a source of your strength. And now you make it more about maintaining your fucking strong frame than even just liking the girls, man. And because I was wrapped up in that, I couldn't even fucking kiss this chick that was super fucking into me, man. I ended up fucking losing her too, man. Ah, man, I fucking missed that girl so much. That girl was so fucking awesome, dude. Let's see. I have to remember to forgive myself. Currently, I am in a rut. I haven't done an approach since my last post. Yeah, I am not setting the intention. Yeah, this is more just don't. I need to not get rejected, and when I go out, I don't set the intention to approach no matter what, and believing in my frame and not being afraid of rejection. Again, more frame building stuff. more worshiping the strength of my frame bullshit. And then yeah, here's the last post. So that's thanks for anybody that was here for the entire review of my post. My posts are fairly interesting when if you want to see a guy that's putting all his eggs in his frame basket, even above fucking the girls, where I'm being to the point where like you can't let her you can't do anything for her to show her that you like her unless she's doing work for it. You have to put your frame above anything else, and it becomes this gay like masturbation. Then you're talking with other dudes about their frame, and you guys are fucking doing circle jerks about how awesome your frame is and how to have the perfect frame and talking about the myth of the perfect pickup. I remember when I was in the lair in Honolulu about how fucking gay that was, how fucking much we were like, we're so good at gaming and our game is so good. And it's just like, dudes, give up, fuck, drop your game, drop frame, okay? Like, quit investing all your energy into building this perfect frame that gives you status and power and leverage over the girl. Because you know, honestly, it will, and it will work on some girls, and some girls will just allow you to fucking play this little game with yourself because they just like see past it and they just like you for whatever reason. But ultimately, dude, it's like you should be investing all that energy in fucking yourself and loving yourself. Okay. Fuck fucking trying to build your fucking frame up so much. Stop that shit. Take your rejections at yourself is getting rejected. Quit building this frame so you can like shuck the fucking rejection off. Quit building up this thing so you can convey, so you have something to convey strength to the girl and fucking get leverage on her. Quit feeling like you need to have this thing to do all these things you need to do so she'll like you and give you validation. Quit building and quit doing to need, okay? Just be. Just fucking love yourself and see things as acts of you doing things to be good to yourself. And anytime that you feel any kind of break from that, you need to have a boundary to that. And anytime anybody tries to fuck with that and try to make you feel stupid and hate yourself and make you feel insecure and silly for loving yourself just because you are and just because you're enough, fucking put a boundary up to that shit and move on and only have people in your life that love you and that love you and for the fucking shit you're setting out to do of this journey of fucking self-love and this life of fucking self-love and being good to yourself, and people that also believe that they're good enough for themselves, man. Like really start building this healthy spirit family environment where it really just becomes this frame of fucking everybody is enough, you know, and everybody's welcome to the party and everybody's enough, you know. And yeah, dudes, again, I go back to what I've been saying the entire time. Drop game and just love yourself. Do alchemy on yourself if you need to. How exactly that works, watch my last stream, how to transform yourself and conquer the world. I go into detail about what it actually means to love yourself and how to actually go through the process and how the system works and what you're going to learn by the end. As I said at the beginning of the stream, I'm working on writing a post that actually just like writes it all out and abbreviates it a little bit so you don't have to watch a 2-hour video. You can watch the video if you want to just see me talk about it and I talk about how I figured it out and all that. But if you literally just want the system written down and you can just read it probably like in 15, 20 minutes, I'm working on that post now. It'll be the next community post that I make. So stay tuned for that. Again, as you saw in this video, all the videos in my channel that are not live streams and all the posts on my channel, other than this post that's coming up, are all coming from a place where I was caught in a validation seeking loop. And you'll get to see what it's like for a guy that's invested all his energy into building up his frame and loves his frame and game more than he loves himself, because he has learned that loving himself is not enough and he's actually weak. And when he loves himself, he believes that he's coming in with a weak frame and he's putting himself in a vulnerable position. And that is a sign of that is a weak position stance to take to come into the frame with. And you're going to get rejected because the girl's attracted to strength. So to convey strength to the girl, you're looking at my post and listening to my videos. You're seeing it coming from a guy, because I made them when I was in this mindset before, that feels he needs to have this thing to show strength because he actually doesn't believe in his own strength. And he just worships his own frame to the point where he loves his frame and invests his fucking love into the frame over the chicks, where I couldn't ask for numbers. I couldn't fucking escalate on chicks unless they worked for it. Like all this funny shit where everything had to be in worship and in service of my frame. And if it wasn't, I couldn't do regular shit like get a number or fucking escalate on a girl. It's fucking wild. And it's crazy to hear what I'm writing and what I'm saying in the videos when you watch those things, man, back in the day. They're so interesting to watch when you understand that it's a guy that's coming from a validation, that's caught in a validation loop and that doesn't believe in himself and is doing everything to build up a frame that is undeniable, which it's all a magic trick. The frame is always going to be undeniable. No matter how strong you get it, it's never going to be enough. And then the ultimate frame is looks, money, status, and game. So there's always going to be a guy with a more complete frame than you, but there will never be another person that can love you more than you can love yourself, you know? And that's the ultimate frame at the end of the day. To stop worshiping some pickup frame and investing all this energy into developing this perfect game and start investing all that energy and loving yourself and viewing the world as a place that you can use to do good things for yourself. It's a gift for you to be good to yourself, to connect with it, and to just use it as a way to extend yourself out into reality and connect with as much of this earth and as many people and this universe as you possibly can. And it's all coming from a place of self-love, which is all based on doing things because you do them to be good to yourself, because you love yourself. Okay, I've been fucking repeating myself enough. Thank you guys for coming to the stream, or any of you guys catching me on the replay. I don't know when I'll be back on. I am thinking about reacting to the Love Drop physical escalation video, but I don't know. Like, I'm starting to kind of get away to reacting to pickup stuff. I'm really super focused on mindset right now because I'm not doing pickup right now because I'm not out in the world right now. So I've got 5 weeks left. I leave February 22nd and I land February 24th. It's a 33-hour flight. And then I will be in Ushuaia, Argentina, and work my way back up to La Paz, Mexico, Baja California Sur. And I will be romping and a stomping for, I believe my trip is now 33 locations and it's down to like 18, 20 months or something. So I am going on a big journey, boys. And when I'm out there gaming again, ideally I can get my podcast set up again. And if I do, and I start interviewing the girls that I pick up essentially, and I start meeting, then I will feel better about filming my interactions, and I will only post interactions of girls that I end up having on my podcast, let's say. And you guys will get to see what a person that has invested in themselves rather than in their games like how easily the interactions flow, how low effort they are, how natural it is to just walk up to a girl, show her interest, she shows you interest, have fun, just feel good with each other, and just a natural pickup fucking looks like. And again, boys, I'm doing this only to share this with you. I am not trying to make money. I am doing this so you guys can avoid going through the same painful fucking path that I did, that took me 17 years to realize that I was just investing my shit in something outside of me, and I should have just been investing it in loving myself. All right, dudes. I don't know when I'll be back. Thanks for joining the stream. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.